Stand up fifth. Subject English. Lesson number 32. Helen Keller. Before I start this lesson, dear children, I would like to give you a short introduction related to this lesson. An inspiring account of courage, strength, determination, and hard work. The story of Helen Keller conveys the message to us when the going gets thought, the thought get going. At 18 months, when Helen Keller was just beginning to talk, she became terribly ill. This affected her sight and hearing too. As she was unable to hear, she could not talk, she became blind too. But with her willpower and courage, and under the able guidance of her wonderful teacher, Anne Sullivan, and a special teacher, she learned to talk and write. Dear children, this was the short introduction related to this lesson. Now I'm going to explain the each subparagraph of the lesson. Here you can see the subparagraph of the lesson. Here I start. This is the story of a child who became completely deaf. Now, what is meant by deaf, dear children? Deaf means unable to hear anything or unable to hear very well. And blind. Blind means same, not able to see anything. So, this is the story of a child who have completely became deaf and blind before she had learned to talk. So before she has learned to talk, so she has become completely deaf and blind because of her own courage and also that of her wonderful teacher. She learned to talk and write. So you're the child who was not able to listen or see anything, so the child has never give up. She has put in her hard work and courage, and with the help of wonderful teacher, the child has learned how to talk and write very well. She was able to go to school and college and to live a full and happy life. So when the child has learned to learn and write very well, so she was able to go to school and colleges too, and she was living a very happy full life. Let's move to the next paragraph of the lesson. Helen was born in 1880 in a small town in the southern USA. So the year the girl whose name was Helen, she was born in a small town in 1880 in the southern USA. When she was beginning to talk, when she was able to learn, when she was age into beginning to talk, she suddenly became terribly means seriously ill. So when she was very small at the 18 month, when she was able to talk, so suddenly she has become very ill, seriously ill, and very nearly die, and she was very close to die. When she recovered, now what is in by recovered, dear children? Recovered means to become well again after you have been ill. So when she recovered, when she has become very well, she was completely deaf and blind. Completely deaf means not able to listen and not able to see anything. So completely she has become deaf and blind after her recovery. Let's move to the next paragraph of the lesson. It is very difficult for deaf child to learn to talk. So here it is very difficult for deaf child, the child who is not able to listen anything. So it is very difficult to learn to talk them, because while listening we are able to talk. When we listen, so we are able to talk. So here the deaf child is very difficult to learn to talk. Most baby learn by hearing other people talking. So most of the baby, you might be sorry dear children, that they are hearing when the peoples are talking, so they try to speak. So most of the baby learn by hearing other people talking. But the deaf child cannot hear anyone, so how can she know what talking sound like? So here the deaf child is not able to hear anything, so they will not understand that what sound is going on. So here the same problem was going with the Helen. She was not able to listen anything, so what the sound is going and what the talking sound like, she is not able to know. So how is she able to learn to talk? So this was the big problem. Many deaf people learn to lip read and they become very clever. So you might be seeing, dear children, many deaf children are there who learn to lip read by doing action and by lipping, so they understand very clearly. So here the many deaf children learn to lip read and they become very clever at understanding what other people are saying. by watching them. So here by lipping or by doing action what other people are doing, so while watching them they can understand the sign of talking, but Helen was not able to see also. So this was a big problem because she was not able to listen anything, and she was not able to see anything. She was completely deaf and blind. So this was a very big problem for Helen, that how she able to listen, because she was not able to listen because she was completely deaf, and she was not able to see because she was blind. So this was very big difficult problem for Helen, how she learned. Let's move to the next sub paragraph of the lesson. Could not see what other people were doing. She remembered a few words she had known before she was ill. So the Helen who has not able to see anything what other people are doing. So how is she able to learn to write and talk? She has just remembered a few words before becoming ill. So she was just remembering a few words she has known before she has become ill. For instance, now what is it by instant? Instant means, for example, she went on calling water Wawa. So before becoming ill, she has remembered few words which was Wawa, but she had to make signs for most things. So most of the thing which she wants to tell, she was making signs of that most thing. By doing actions, she was making to understand to other people. She would shake her head for no and not for yes. So while doing some action, she was trying to tell others. For example, when she want to say anything, she was shaking her head for no and not for yes. So this was the action which she was remember before getting ill, and when she wants to say anything, she was just shaking or giving any sign of action. Let's move to the next sub paragraph of the lesson. Pullman come and a push go, but of course she could say very little like this. So here the girl Helen, who was trying her best to express to do something towards herself by putting her great physical efforts to take something. So but while trying also she could say very little like this. So she was trying but she was not able to say many things. So but she could say very little thing like this, and she depended entirely on other people, and entirely she has depended on other people. Yet Helen had an active mind and a clever brain. So you're the girl Helen who was having active mind. She was a clever girl and she was having a clever brain and wanted to do and say everything. And so she wanted to do many things and she wanted to do lots of things. So here she was very active, so she was trying to do everything. So here she was trying and wanted to do and say everything any other child would. So how the child are excited to do and say everything. So same thing with the Helen, she was very excited to do and speak many things. She used to get into terrible tempers. Now what is meant by terrible tempers, dear children? Terrible tempers means easily annoyed or anger, having or showing at a bad temper, usually ill tempered. So here when the Helen was becoming anger, when she could not explain what she meant or understand what other wants. So when she was not able to understand what other are saying, or sometime it happened that she wants to tell anything and others are not understanding, so that time she became very anger. Because of the illness her temper become very high. Let's move to the next sub paragraph of the lesson. Then when Helen was nearly 7, so when the Helen has become 7-year old, and Sullivan came to teach her and took after her. So here the teacher whose name was Anne Sullivan, who came to teach her, who came to teach Ellen and took care of her. This clever and devoted teacher. Now this clever and devoted teacher means a committed teacher who has taken care of Helen and who has changed the Helen's life. So this clever and devoted teacher changed Helen's life. Dear children, hope you all understood the first part of this lesson. Thank you.